welcome back to the Marketing Minds of Tomorrow podcast. I'm with my co-hosts Lauren and Caden. Lauren actually graduated this past week, and this will be her last episode with us. We were going to talk about your overall experience with the digital marketing clinic. We could just get right into that if you want to just give a little recap of your overall experience with the clinic.
Yeah, definitely. I remember getting hired last November, so I was with the clinic for almost a year, and it was a really good experience. I think I served 17 clients while I was with the DMC, so it was a super fun experience. And it's kind of sad that it's all over, but yeah, it was good. I graduated and I actually had to leave the DMC a little earlier than I was expecting because I got a job as a marketing manager. So that was also really exciting. So, yeah.
So as far as, how internships go, it's usually set to prepare you for the future. And with this internship, I feel like we get a lot of real world business insights. So I guess my question for you is what skills have you gained from the SBDC and how do you think it set you apart from getting that job from other people?
Yeah, with the DMC, the actual hands-on experience was what actually helped me get the job, like you just said. Like doing SEO for actual businesses and creating marketing strategies for actual businesses and having them actually put it into play. Like I had Beauty Collab as one of my clients, and she let me create her a website and do all the SEO for her. So being able to kind of go in and do all of that and have it actually exist out there, I think gave me the actual skill set that the employers were kind of looking for. Like in my interview, I brought up that I did SEO and I actually had created social media plans and things like that. And they found that really beneficial to their company. And just the fact that I was able to do all of that coming right out of college made me kind of stand out. I think classroom experience helps, but having that actual hands-on experience from the DMC is actually what landed me the job for sure.
Do you think that you had insights going into that job that maybe people that have worked there for a while haven't, seeing that you've worked with businesses in this new age of kind of marketing as a whole with technology and other stuff?
Yeah, I am comfortable using AI and stuff, and then also being Gen Z, like TikTok and Instagram and all the new short form video stuff I've had a good amount of experience with, and the people at my company just don't. So I think coming in with that helped me a lot too. Also just working with such a variety of businesses at the DMC, I think helped me too. Just having so much experience in different industries. I'm working with a roofing company, which I have not a clue about roofing, but with all my other business experience, I think it just helps as a whole to understand the business process and understand how to market any business regardless of what it is. So, yeah.
What do you think is the biggest difference between your current job versus the DMC?
Well, I actually am the only marketing person at my job. So, one of the biggest things is kind of having everything rely on me. So, I do 90% of the marketing by myself, and they're also kind of trusting me with everything. Right now, I'm doing social media. We're going to do paid ads. I'm actually going to do a trade show with them. So, there's a lot more. And obviously, with the DMC, we only work with clients for 20 hours. So, you only get to see them for so much time. You get to help them with something and then kind of send them off, and you don't necessarily see the results all the time. So with this, I'll kind of be able to actually track KPIs and all that kind of stuff. I'll be able to run campaigns completely on my own and then also see the results from it. So I think just the longevity of everything that I do, I'll kind of be able to see results from it, which will actually be cool.
So as far as the interview process goes for people graduating out of college and into the real world, what was that process like for you? Did you automatically go to this roofing company with your resume from the clinic? Did you use other aspects of other jobs or maybe internships that you had? Just explain that process for us.
Yeah, so it all kind of started with applying for jobs, obviously. I applied to jobs on LinkedIn and Indeed and stuff. And then once it came to the actual interview process, a lot of the companies that I interviewed with had multiple rounds. So typically, the first round was a call with one of the recruiters. At my company that I'm at right now, it was a little more simple because they're a smaller company, so I had a call with the boss, like the manager of the whole entire company. But typically it was a call with a recruiter just to kind of get to know you and like explain what the role even is and see if like it is a good fit for both people. And then the next interview typically was like a virtual interview where they ask behavioral questions. So questions like if you have ever been in a situation like XYZ, what have you done to kind of, come out on the other end, that kind of thing. So it was pretty much all behavioral based questions, which I feel like are the toughest questions in interviews because you kind of have to have like a story or a situation to back up your answer. So I definitely took a lot of time to kind of prepare for those. But then the next interview typically was in person, at least for two of the companies that I interviewed with. I went in person. The one that I'm currently working at, it was an interview with two of the managers. And then the other company was kind of like a panel interview. So similar situation, just more questions on what you would do at Shield, which is where I'm working. They kind of just asked me a lot about my experience. They looked over my resume. I brought that in with me. And they were just kind of pulling things like, what kind of experiences did you get with SEO and like what were some like actual campaigns that you did or whatever it might be. But they asked me like more marketing specific questions, at least for this role. For the other role that I did, it was more sales based. They kind of just asked me like, obviously I don't have any sales experience, but like what transferable skills that I had or like what could be transferable. But yeah, it was definitely a longer process. I didn't realize how long some of these interviews could be. I had 4 rounds at one of the companies that I interviewed with, and panel interviews are definitely intimidating, but I think preparation has a lot to do with it. Just looking up like the company online and preparing questions that you can ask them. And then also, I actually used AI to help me prepare for the behavioral based interview questions. I just had to give me like 20 behavioral based interview questions, and like 70 or 80% of them were questions that they actually asked. So it just kind of like helped me to have something prepared in the back of my mind, like putting a situation to the actual question. So I wasn't sitting there kind of frantic. But yeah, it was kind of an interesting thing to go through, and like I'm glad that I have so much interview experience under my belt for anything in the future.
So, what helped you kind of balance your options when you had different job offers and decide which one was best for you?
Yeah, so I ended up with 3 job offers, which I was obviously very lucky to receive. And they were all pretty different. So I had one remote sales position and then an in-person sales position and then an in-person marketing. So it was a lot to kind of juggle between. I think the biggest thing for me to decide was kind of like what growth can I get out of the position that I'm in. So I've had an interest in sales, but also I went to school for marketing. So I thought, I'm being offered a marketing position, which is kind of rare nowadays, it feels like. So I was like, this is probably the best opportunity for me to grow my skills. And it's actually a marketing manager slash business development, which is also kind of in the sales world. So I'll be doing a little bit of sales as well. It's more so just like networking with people and that kind of thing. But I think ultimately it came down to the fact of where I could grow my skills, not necessarily like where I could grow on the ladder, considering the fact that I'm the only marketing person in the company. So there's really nowhere to go up from here. But more so just like, what can I learn from this company and take it to the future with my next position, wherever that might be, whenever that is. So I think that was the biggest thing. And also just the fact that I had so much freedom. I thought it was kind of cool that most of the stuff that I'll be doing is because of me and will be under my control, obviously with their help. But anything that I do for this company will kind of have my name on it, if that makes sense. So I'm able to kind of start their marketing from scratch, do all their social media, like grow those accounts, and then hopefully bring leads in from any of the marketing strategies that I implement, which will be really cool. And just the experiences that came along with it, like trade shows. And I also really wanted like an in-person job just because I love like the culture of being with people. Remote is totally fine, but I know myself, and like being in my room all day just wasn't necessarily for me. The flexibility is super nice, but like I love being surrounded by people. So I think that was ultimately why I chose the job that I did.
When it comes to like the future of hybrid work, do you think that is something that, your business will do in the future, or do you think it'll stay all in person?
I definitely think it could be. Our sales guys work mostly out of the office, so they're already not in the office with us. And also, I just think with marketing in general, like if you have somebody that's getting the content for you for social media, you can do it all from wherever you are. And like SEO, like you don't need to be in a physical office to do any of that. The only thing that would be in person is like those trade shows and those networking events. But I think that since I am their first in-house marketing person, there's kind of a lot of flexibility and room to grow the position. So I think there could definitely be the opportunity to be hybrid, because if I don't necessarily need to come in for a day and save me on the driving time, I don't think that would necessarily be a bad thing. But yeah, so there's definitely room to grow, and I'm their first in-house marketing person, like I said. So they're kind of figuring out the position as we go, which is kind of nice.
At the DMC, I feel like we gave a lot of presentations to either future students or, you know, con- people that we serve.
Yeah.
Did you give any insightful presentations during your time here that you think had an impact on not only the future, but the way you thought about marketing, learning, and other stuff?
Yeah, I think every presentation that I did was insightful. I think, like, looking back to my freshman year of college, presenting was not something that I liked doing at all. I would try to avoid it on all costs, and having the opportunity to do all of these presentations, either with clients one on one or actually like in front of groups of people, has definitely impacted me. I think I've learned a lot. You have to do the research for these presentations, so that has helped me learn a lot about marketing, and then also just like the presenting side in general. I think being able to stand up in front of people and talk is a skill that everybody should learn. It's not something that a lot of people like doing. I mean, I still wouldn't say I like enjoy doing it. I'm not going to go out of my way to probably present, but like I have gotten a lot more comfortable with it, and I think that helps too with like interviews. Just being able to be in front of a lot of people and talk is definitely a skill that I got a lot out of the DMC with. We had to present to so many students, I felt like. And then with the Women in Technology presentation was a larger group. And then I presented with Anna in front of a whole lecture hall of students. So yeah, I think presenting in general was something, like marketing aside, that I really got out of the DMC, because you really don't get a whole lot of that anywhere else.
What was that Women in Technology presentation about?
It was about my job searching experience and kind of my skills that I've kind of gained while I was at the DMC. Kathy talked a lot about marketing and technology and kind of the future. And then Caitlin was also talking about like her skills that she learned at the DMC. But mine was mostly focused on like, how the DMC helped me land my first post-grad job and like the skills that I've actually gotten out of the DMC. And yeah, just everything that I was able to kind of take away that helped me get to where I am now, being graduated and actually having a job lined up, which was ultimately the end goal for everybody that works here.
Do you enjoy being able to work on a project or marketing project like long term? Because I feel like one of the things that's a drawback to the DMC sometimes is when we only get to work with a client for a certain amount of time, and then after that, it's like you kind of don't really do anything with them once we reach that 20-hour limit. So I
Hmm.
was just wondering, like, is that like a big thing that you probably like more, just being able to work long term on projects?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like fun. It's very fun with DMC to kind of switch up what businesses and what industries you're working with. I think that is the fun part. Only having 20 hours, you get like a little taste of everything. But long term, it's a lot more enjoyable to actually kind of see the results of your work. Like you start creating like a social media strategy and start implementing that, and then you can actually follow what people are saying, how much the account is growing or whatever. And once I start getting into advertisements and paid ads, I'll actually be able to see the results from that. A lot of times with our DMC clients, we kind of just walk them through how they can do it and maybe set them up to do it, but never truly see the results from it unless we keep in touch with them. So I think that being able to follow any of the marketing plans I implement is a lot more exciting because it also feels more rewarding too when you can see if things are going right and wrong. And that's kind of the same thing with the DMC. You can recommend something to somebody, but if it doesn't work out, you might have no idea. And it's kind of nice knowing if it does work out or if it doesn't work out. So in that sense, yeah, I definitely enjoy having like the long-term effects and seeing all of that instead of like a shorter amount of time. But it is nice kind of switching industries too with the DMC.
Yeah.
So outside of the DMC, what other things help you find a job or gained experience for that job search?
Yeah. I think LinkedIn actually was very helpful. I really made an effort to kind of like grow my connections, and like my job that I have now didn't come from LinkedIn, but I think as a whole, making those connections really helped me. I actually started doing some I connected with somebody on LinkedIn. He's a financial advisor and he wanted help with social media. So I kind of started doing that on the side. And that also just helped me gain more experience with social media and actually, again, seeing more long term results. And with his connection, I was able to connect with other people and able to connect with other people within any industry that I was interested in. Two of the jobs I did get offers from were through LinkedIn. Recruiters had reached out to me and I would talk to them on the phone, and then I would also reach out to some people within the company just to kind of learn a little bit more. So I really did use LinkedIn as a resource, and I actually like post on LinkedIn um, and try to connect with people when I can and actually make like meaningful conversations because you never really know where that can go or who they know. I think when people say like it's not what you know till you know, that is like one of the most true things, especially in this job market, because everybody has gone to school, everybody's very smart and educated, has a lot of experience, but I think a lot of times to get a job, it helps when you know somebody, or if you try to know somebody, put the effort in to like reach out to them. But I also started my job search by posting on LinkedIn. So I had a decent amount of connections that I had been kind of connecting with throughout the course of my college experience. So once it was time for me to start looking for a job, I posted on LinkedIn and I was like, "Hey everybody, I'm starting my job search. If you know anybody that you could connect me with, or if I could connect with you, whatever." And I got a lot of good response on that actually, so that was definitely helpful. Two of the jobs, again, that I got offers from were because they saw that post. So I think, letting people know that you're looking for a job and you're excited to job search, excited to connect with people, I think that's really, really helpful. And any networking event that you can go to, I mean, not necessarily do you have to get your job out of that networking event specifically, but you never really know where that can take you. So when I was at the DMC or in school and had like any opportunity to do any networking thing or go to, any career fair, I really took them up on it. When Kathy asked for if anybody wanted to go to a Chamber of Commerce event, I was like all for it because, again, you really never know what those connections can lead you. And even if it doesn't help you right now, who knows where it can help you in the future. Like if you like the job you're at, but then want to kind of switch or pivot, maybe some of those people that you met could help you kind of navigate that and find something new. You never really know. I think networking and LinkedIn definitely helped me outside of the DMC. And I would really recommend like anybody to use LinkedIn and like actually genuinely try to connect with people on there because it really does help for sure.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, it kind of sucks that you're going to be leaving, but
Yeah.
it's really cool that you're going to be doing bigger and better things. So, congrats on graduating and congrats on everything that's going to come to you. That's really exciting stuff for the future.
Thank you. Yeah, it's bittersweet to leave, but you guys will do great things too. So I'm excited for you all.
Awesome. All right.
Great.
All right, bye everyone.
Bye, everybody.